Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My English name before I embraced Islam was Shane William Hopkins. I'm born in the South Island of New Zealand and from a traditional Kiwi European background. Basically most people from New Zealand immigrated either from Welsh or English or Irish or Scottish blood. The majority of the white New Zealanders are mainly of English descent. I embraced Islam, I would say, wholeheartedly at least about 10 years ago. I had a, you want to know how I embraced Islam, or how long ago? Or?
Yes, embraced Islam.
Probably about 10 years ago. I had a friend from Indonesia, and he was working with me at a telecom company, and he was a Muslim, of course, and me being a Christian. We were good friends, and we used to talk each time, and he would put questions to me and I'd put questions to him, and used to go back and forwards. And the Western conception, of course, of Islam is always a negative one. You've only got to look at the world's media to see how it's portrayed, and unfortunately I was of the same understanding that it was a terrorism religion, and it was despised because my parents always thought that as well, and basically majority of the Western world does. So anyway, we would have talks, and over time he slowly convinced me, and basically used to just made me absolutely amazed and opened my eyes to the actual beauty of Islam, and it's so wrongfully portrayed as in the wrong light. If people actually read and understood it, they'll be actually amazed as myself was. It's a beautiful religion, and over time, thanks to my friend Mustafa, this is the gentleman that was from Indonesia, he taught me about Islam, and alhamdulillah. The very, very wonderful point about Islam, I mean there's so many, but to pick one that I would define as the beauty of Islam is the trouble with the world. As you see, it doesn't matter which country or wherever you go, you'll always see racism, bigotry, caste systems, people assuming they're better than others. And the beauty of Islam is that it tries to break down, that it actually does break it down. It's only people's ignorance which allows it not to be successful. And that I found Islam to be amazing. The very first time, which brought tears to my eyes, was the day that I went. My very first trip to a masjid was on a Jummah, when I was invited to go to a Jummah prayer. And I walked into this hall, the masjid, and being a traditional European blood, I was looking for a seat to sit on, and of course there's no seats in a masjid, so that was quite compelling. And I just, everywhere I looked, the place was absolutely packed, and there was every ethnic type of person you could ever imagine, from Africans to Indians to European guys like myself, Malaysians, Indonesians, Japanese, Chinese, Eastern Europeans, and I like from Russia and Chechnya and places like this, and I was just absolutely flabbergasted, and so impressed that black next to white, Asian next to here. There's no actual hierarchy within the masjid. You can basically sit wherever you want as long as you don't push somebody out of the way. You sit down next to anybody, and everybody's equal. And I think that's the most compelling thing with Islam, is that it teaches everybody that you're not better than anybody else. It doesn't matter what you do for a job, or how much money you have, or what your parents do, or whether your family owns a business, or whether you're a cleaner or you're unemployed. Basically, Islam teaches that the universal brotherhood, and that basically, to be honest, I didn't know any Muslims. I only heard and what you would see on the TV and what people would say. My mother came from England, and she was very anti-Islam, and I used to have, many talks with her about it. But as a child growing up, Islam was always portrayed in a negative light, and unfortunately, it still is around the world. But totally, compared to now that I'm a Muslim, what I was told then is nowhere near, nothing the truth. It's basically falsehood, and there's so much against Islam, which is just unfair, because what I was taught as a child and growing up, and what other people have said, and what other people assume Islam is about, is not the case. It's not as they